Hey guys, tonight we're going to dive deep into a world you can barely imagine. A time before Wi-Fi, before instant coffee, before even the wheel was a twinkle in a clever hominid's eye. We're talking about the Stone Age, that vast, mysterious stretch of human history where survival was less about swiping right and more about not getting swiped by a saber-toothed cat. Imagine waking up, not to your alarm, but to the rustle of ancient ferns and the distant roar of something far larger than your neighbor's dog. No plush mattress, just a hard-packed earth floor. No thermostat, just the biting cold or the oppressive heat. Your day won't involve spreadsheets or TikToks. It'll be a raw, unfiltered battle for existence. And let's be honest, you'd probably last about 5 minutes before realizing that your artisanal sourdough skills aren't going to cut it out here. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is. Right now, in my neck of the woods, it's just past midnight, and the only sounds are the hum of my computer and the gentle purr of my cat, a stark contrast to the primeval world we're about to enter. Bây giờ, hãy tắt đèn. Nhắm mắt lại và tưởng tượng bạn đang du hành ngược thời gian về thời cổ đại. You stir, not from a comfortable bed, but from a shallow depression in the earth, a rough nest of leaves and animal furs providing minimal cushioning against the chill that seeps from the ground. Your body aches in places you didn't know existed, a testament to the hard labor of the previous day, a day that felt more like a week in your modern memory. The air is sharp with the smell of damp earth, decaying leaves, and something else, something wild and primal, and scent that speaks of predator and prey, a scent that prickles the hairs on your arms. You push yourself up, your muscles protesting, and scan your surroundings. The first rays of dawn, a faint pearly gray, struggle to pierce the thick canopy of ancient trees that tower above you, their branches gnarled and dark against the lightening sky. The world is a symphony of unfamiliar sounds, the chirping of unseen insects, the distant cry of a bird you don't recognize, and a low guttural snort that sends a shiver down your spine. Your heart thumps a little faster. Your eyes, still heavy with sleep, try to make sense of the blurry shapes around you. You see the rough forms of other individuals, huddled in similar makeshift shelters, their bodies barely visible in the pre-dawn gloom. They are your tribe, your only hope of survival in this relentless landscape. A quick glance at your own hands reveals calluses you didn't have yesterday, and your nails are chipped and dirty. Your clothes, if you can even call them that, are crude animal skins, stiff and scratchy against your skin. There's no soft cotton, no breathable synthetic fabrics. This is as raw as it gets. You shiver, not just from the cold, but from the stark reality of your situation. This isn't a dream, this is your new, terrifying reality. As the light slowly strengthens, details emerge. The ground beneath you is uneven, littered with fallen branches, jagged rocks, and the occasional bone. You carefully pick your way to the edge of the small clearing where your group has spent the night. A few embers still glow faintly in the remains of a central fire, a testament to someone's vigil through the darkness. The air smells faintly of wood smoke, a comforting aroma amidst the wildness, a tiny reminder of human presence. You notice a woman, older than you, meticulously sharpening a stone tool with another stone, her movements precise and practiced. The rhythmic clink-clink of stone on stone is the soundtrack to this ancient morning. This is your classroom now. Observation, your primary learning tool. Your stomach rumbles, a hollow ache that demands attention. Food? That's the first, most pressing thought. There's no refrigerator, no pantry, no corner store. Every meal is a hunt, a gather, a struggle. You remember the berries you ate yesterday, sour and a little mealy, but they filled a desperate need. You also recall the fear, the constant vigilance as you scanned the tree line. always expecting something to burst forth from the undergrowth. This constant state of heightened awareness is exhausting, far more draining than any modern-day stress. You yearn for the mundane anxieties of traffic jams or overdue bills. Those feel like luxuries now. You watch as others begin to stir, some stretching, others immediately setting about tasks. A few men, burly and silent, begin to inspect crude spears, testing their balance, running their hands over the sharpened points. These are the hunters, the providers of meat, the ones who face the greatest dangers. You feel a pang of inadequacy. What skills do you possess that would be valuable here? Your quick wit, your ability to navigate complex software, your encyclopedic knowledge of pop culture, none of it matters. Here, strength, agility, and an intimate understanding of the natural world are the true currencies. You recall a documentary you once watched, a fleeting memory from your previous life, about the early human diet. Early humans, particularly those in the Stone Age, were incredibly opportunistic eaters, consuming a wide variety of plants and animals depending on what was available in their local environment. This included everything from roots and berries to small mammals, fish, and even large game hunted collectively. Your current stomach growl serves as a very personal reminder of this historical fact. You need to find something to eat, and fast. You notice a young boy, no older than 7 or 8, already sifting through the dirt near a patch of thorny bushes, his small hands surprisingly adept at uncovering something. He pulls out a gnarled root, brushes the dirt off it, and takes a bite. You watch him, fascinated. This isn't a chore for him. It's instinct. He knows what to look for. What's safe? What's nourishing? You realize how utterly dependent you are on the collective knowledge of this group. Without them, you wouldn't last a day. This realization is both humbling and terrifying. One little-known detail about early human life is how interconnected their survival was with their environment. Archaeological evidence suggests that early humans had an incredibly sophisticated understanding of local flora and fauna, often moving seasonally to exploit different resources as they became available. They were not just passive consumers. They actively managed their landscape through controlled burns and other techniques, shaping their world in subtle ways that we are only now beginning to fully appreciate. This knowledge wasn't written in books. It was passed down through generations, through observation, through trial and error, through the very fabric of their daily lives. You feel the weight of this accumulated wisdom, a wisdom you are woefully lacking. A woman approaches you, her face etched with lines of age and experience, but her eyes are kind. She gestures towards a patch of leafy greens near the edge of the clearing, then makes a chewing motion. It's a silent invitation, a lesson. You cautiously approach the plants, examining them. How do you know if they're safe? Your modern brain screams for a label, an ingredient list, but there's none. You look back at her, and she nods, a reassuring gesture. You pluck a leaf, hesitantly bring it to your nose. It has an earthy, slightly bitter smell. You take a small bite. It's tough, fibrous, but not unpleasant. You chew slowly, feeling a small surge of accomplishment. This is sustenance, however meager. The sun is now fully above the horizon, casting long shadows and painting the forest in shades of green and gold. The air is warming, and the sounds of the forest grow louder, more vibrant. You see members of your group fanning out, some heading towards a nearby stream, others disappearing into the deeper woods. Everyone has a purpose, a role to play in the intricate dance of survival. There is no idleness here, no time for leisure, not in the way you understand it. Every moment is dedicated to the fundamental needs of existence: food, water, shelter, safety. You notice a small group of children, no older than the boy who ate the root, playing near the edge of the clearing. They aren't playing with toys, but with sticks and stones, mimicking the actions of the adults, practicing the skills they will need to survive. One boy pretends to stalk an imaginary animal, his small spear held aloft. Another meticulously arranges small pebbles into a pattern, perhaps a rudimentary map or a game. It's a stark reminder that even in this harsh environment, there is still childhood, still learning, still the innate human drive to play and explore. As the morning progresses, the rhythm of Stone Age life begins to assert itself. You find yourself mimicking the actions of others, a silent apprentice in a forgotten craft. You learn to recognize the subtle signs of animal tracks, the rustle of leaves that might indicate movement, the particular scent of something edible. Your senses, dulled by years of urban living, begin to sharpen. You notice the intricate patterns on a stone, the delicate veins of a leaf, the way the light filters through the trees, creating shifting mosaics on the forest floor. You are becoming more attuned to the natural world, less a tourist and more a participant. One of the ongoing academic debates among historians and archaeologists concerns the exact social structures of early human groups. Scholars still debate whether early Stone Age societies were primarily egalitarian, with shared resources and minimal hierarchy, or if there were already nascent forms of leadership and status differentiation emerging within groups. You observe your own group, noting how tasks seem to be distributed, how decisions are made. There isn't a single leader, at least not one who overtly commands. Instead, there's a fluid dynamic, where experience and skill seem to earn respect and influence. The older woman who showed you the edible greens, for example, seems to hold a quiet authority, her wisdom sought out by others. The burly hunters, too, command a certain deference, their prowess essential for the group's sustenance. It's a complex web of relationships, far more nuanced than you might have imagined. The sun climbs higher, and the air becomes noticeably warmer. You feel the sweat trickling down your back, the animal skins feeling heavy and restrictive. You yearn for a cool drink, something more than the murky water you managed to scoop from a puddle near the stream earlier. You realize that thirst is a constant companion in this world, a quiet hum of discomfort that underscores every activity. There are no taps, no bottled water, no refreshing fizzy drinks, just the raw, unfiltered offerings of nature, often carrying their own risks. You remember seeing others drink from the stream, carefully, after inspecting the water. You'll have to learn that caution too. You see a group of women returning from the forest, their arms laden with bundles of roots, berries, and what appear to be small nuts. They move with an easy grace, their steps sure and silent, as if they are part of the forest itself. They begin to sort their findings. Some of the roots immediately placed near the dying embers of the fire to roast. The smell of cooking food, even something as simple as roasted roots, is incredibly enticing. Your hunger intensifies, a visceral, undeniable craving. You realize that every meal here is a celebration, a triumph over the constant threat of starvation. There is no waste, no leftovers tossed casually into the bin. Every scrap is precious. As the morning draws to a close, you feel a strange mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. You are tired, dirty, and profoundly uncomfortable. But you have survived the first few hours. You have observed, you have learned, and you have even contributed in a small way. The sheer, overwhelming simplicity of life here is both terrifying and oddly liberating. Your modern anxieties, your digital distractions, seem utterly meaningless in this primal world. Here, survival is the only goal, and every moment is dedicated to achieving it. The world outside your small clearing is vast, dangerous, and utterly indifferent to your existence. But within the circle of your tribe, there is a nascent sense of belonging, a shared struggle that binds you together. You are a part of something ancient, something fundamental, and the day, still full of challenges, has only just begun. You're still acutely aware of the gnawing hunger, but now, a new sensation begins to assert itself, the dull ache in your muscles. Every movement feels like an effort, a stark contrast to your typically sedentary modern life. Your body, accustomed to cushioned chairs and smooth sidewalks, is protesting the relentless demands of the Stone Age. You see others, however, moving with an effortless grace, their bodies hardened by a lifetime of physical exertion. They are living machines, perfectly adapted to their environment. You, on the other hand, feel like a fragile, out-of-place anomaly. As the sun climbs higher, casting dappled light through the dense foliage, the heat begins to build. You feel the sweat trickling down your temples, mingling with the dirt and grime that already coats your skin. The animal skins you wear, which provided some warmth earlier, now feel oppressive and stifling. You long for a cool shower, a blast of air conditioning, anything to alleviate the rising discomfort. But there is nothing but the oppressive humidity of the ancient forest, a constant reminder of your vulnerability to the elements. You wipe your brow with the back of your hand, only to smear more dirt across your face. Ah, personal hygiene, another modern luxury you now deeply miss. A group of the younger men, including the silent, burly ones you observed earlier, begin to gather their spears. Their movements are efficient, their expressions serious. They are preparing for the hunt, the most critical activity of the day. You feel a jolt of fear mixed with a strange curiosity. What will they hunt? A deer? A boar? Or something far more formidable? Something that could just as easily hunt them. You watch them sharpen their spear tips, the shp of stone against stone, a low, ominous rhythm. These aren't decorative objects. They are tools of survival, instruments of life and death. You remember reading once about the incredible ingenuity of early humans when it came to tool making? The development of increasingly sophisticated stone tools, particularly the bifacial hand axe, marked a significant evolutionary leap, allowing early hominids to process food more efficiently and gain access to new resources. You see one of the hunters meticulously flaking a piece of chert, each strike precise, each chip falling away to reveal a razor-sharp edge. It's an art form, a dangerous dance between brute force and delicate control. You can almost feel the vibrations of the impacts through the ground. Your group is on the move again, following the hunters into the deeper parts of the forest. The terrain is uneven, treacherous. Roots snake across your path, threatening to trip you. Thorny bushes snag at your crude clothing. You constantly scan the ground, wary of unseen obstacles and potential dangers. The forest floor is a rich tapestry of textures and sounds, each leaf crunch, each snapping twig, a potential signal. Your senses are on high alert, constantly processing information, a far cry from the autopilot mode you usually operate in during your morning commute. You walk for what feels like hours, the heat growing more intense, the thirst more insistent. The constant vigilance is exhausting. You realize that in this world, there is no rest. Not truly. Even when you are still, your mind is working, assessing risks, planning for the next immediate need. You begin to appreciate the sheer mental fortitude required to simply exist in the Stone Age. It's a level of mental endurance you never knew you possessed, a new muscle being strenuously worked. You find yourself automatically scanning the trees, the ground, the distant sounds, your mind trying to categorize every sensation, threat, or opportunity. Suddenly, the lead hunter raises a hand. Everyone freezes. The forest falls silent, save for the buzzing of unseen insects. Your heart pounds in your chest. What has he seen? You strain your eyes, trying to peer through the dense undergrowth, but you see nothing. The air hangs heavy, thick with anticipation. Then, a low grunt, barely audible. The hunters crouch, their spears held ready. You instinctively drop to your knees, trying to make yourself as small and inconspicuous as possible. This is the moment of truth. A flicker of movement in the distance. A large shadow passes between the trees. Your breath catches in your throat. It's enormous, far larger than anything you've ever seen. A woolly rhinoceros. Its immense bulk moving with surprising stealth through the forest. Its shaggy coat, thick horns, and sheer size are awe-inspiring and terrifying. You feel a primal urge to flee, to scream, to bury yourself in the earth. But you stay frozen, mimicking the stillness of those around you. Your life depends on it. This brings up a fascinating point about the megafauna of the Ice Age. While many people associate woolly mammoths with the Stone Age, woolly rhinoceroses were also a significant presence in Eurasia, often depicted in cave paintings alongside other large game animals. Imagine encountering something that massive in the wild, armed only with a sharpened stick. It puts your modern anxieties about a flat tire or a late train into sharp perspective. You can almost smell the animal now, a faint, musky odor carried on the breeze. The hunters, incredibly, begin to move, slowly, deliberately, fanning out to encircle the massive beast. Your eyes widen in disbelief. They're going to hunt it, this giant, prehistoric tank. You feel a knot of fear tighten in your stomach. This isn't a game, this is life and death, played out on the most brutal of stages. You can't imagine how they plan to take down such a formidable creature. One misplaced step, one wrong move, and they could be crushed into the earth like an insect. You recall a tidbit about Stone Age hunting techniques. One less-known detail about early human hunting is the likely reliance on ambush tactics and driving animals into natural traps or over cliffs, rather than direct confrontation, especially with larger, more dangerous prey. You hope, desperately, that they have a plan, some clever strategy to avoid a head-on clash with this prehistoric behemoth. Direct confrontation seems suicidal. You watch, transfixed, as the hunters disappear into the undergrowth, their movements fluid and practiced. The suspense is unbearable. Minutes crawl by like hours. You hear nothing but the sounds of the forest, amplified by your heightened senses. Then, a sudden commotion, a loud bellow, a crashing through the trees. Your heart leaps into your throat. The ground trembles faintly beneath you. This is it. The hunt is on. You can't see anything, but you can imagine the chaos, the danger, the sheer brute force of the encounter. You picture the hunters, nimble and quick, darting around the massive beast, trying to find an opening, a weakness. Archaeologists continue to debate the precise extent to which early human groups specialized in hunting specific megafauna versus maintaining a more generalized diet, with evidence suggesting a complex interplay of environmental factors and cultural preferences influencing their hunting strategies. The sheer diversity of tools found at archaeological sites hints at a wide range of hunting practices, from small game trapping to the cooperative pursuit of giant animals. This rhinoceros hunt, then, is a testament to the sheer courage and ingenuity of these ancient people. The sounds of the struggle begin to recede, moving further into the forest. You can still hear the crashing and bellowing, but it's more distant now. A wave of relief washes over you, mixed with a pang of anxiety for the hunters. Did they succeed? Are they safe? You wait, holding your breath, your body tensed, ready to spring into action if needed. Though you have no idea what action you could possibly take, you are utterly helpless, a bystander in a world that demands active participation. After what feels like an eternity, the sounds finally subside. A deep silence descends upon the forest, broken only by the chirping of birds, which now seems oddly loud. You squint into the trees, waiting. Then, slowly, cautiously, figures begin to emerge from the undergrowth. The hunters, they are grimy, exhausted, but alive. And, to your astonishment, they are dragging something. It's a leg, a massive, shaggy leg, unmistakably belonging to the woolly rhinoceros. They did it. They actually did it. A wave of awe washes over you. These people, with their simple tools and incredible bravery, have taken down an animal that could crush them with a single step. The sheer scale of their accomplishment is staggering. You realize that every successful hunt is a victory, a monumental achievement that ensures the survival of the entire group. This isn't just about food, it's about life, about defying the odds in a world designed to kill you. As they drag the immense leg back towards the clearing, a collective sigh of relief seems to ripple through the group. The atmosphere, previously tense and expectant, now shifts to one of quiet satisfaction. The rest of the day will be dedicated to processing the kill, an equally arduous and important task. There will be butchering, skinning, and the preparation of the meat. Nothing will be wasted. Every part of the animal will be used. A testament to the harsh realities of survival and the deep respect for the resources provided by nature. You notice the tired smiles on the faces of the hunters, the way they exchange glances, a silent camaraderie born of shared danger and triumph. You feel a strange sense of pride yourself, a vicarious thrill from witnessing such raw, fundamental courage. This is what it means to be human in the Stone Age, a constant struggle, punctuated by moments of intense fear and profound achievement. You are learning lessons here that no textbook could ever teach, lessons etched into the very fabric of existence. The day is still far from over, but for now, the immediate threat of starvation has been pushed back, thanks to the bravery and skill of your ancient companions. The massive leg of the woolly rhinoceros lies on the forest floor, a testament to the morning's incredible hunt. The air, already thick with humidity, now carries the faint, coppery scent of fresh blood, a primal smell that simultaneously repulses and fascinates you. You watch as the hunters, joined by other members of the tribe, begin the arduous task of butchering the enormous carcass. This isn't like carving a Thanksgiving turkey. This is a full-body workout, a brutal display of strength and precision. They use their meticulously crafted stone tools, not just to cut, but to scrape, hack, and pry. The blades, though simple, are astonishingly effective. You marvel at how they manage to separate muscle from bone, gristle from sinew, with such practiced ease. Each cut is deliberate, efficient, born from countless generations of experience. You realize that every part of this animal will be utilized: the meat for sustenance, the hide for clothing and shelter, the bones for tools and weapons, even the organs. There is no waste in this world, only resourcefulness driven by necessity. Your modern sensibilities are screaming. The lack of hygiene, the raw meat, the blood-stained hands, it's a stark contrast to the sterile, packaged world you know. But here, these are simply the realities of survival. You push down the urge to gag, forcing yourself to observe, to learn. You see how they meticulously clean the cutting tools, sometimes with handfuls of dirt, sometimes by simply wiping them on tough leaves. This is their version of sanitation. One of the more interesting and less commonly known facts about Stone Age life is the likely development of early food preservation techniques, even without fire. For instance, evidence suggests that early humans might have air-dried or even partially fermented meat to extend its shelf life, crucial for periods of scarcity. Imagine trying to air-dry a massive piece of rhino meat without attracting every scavenger in the forest. It makes your freezer look like a miracle of engineering. As the butchering continues, you notice a particular type of tool being used: small, sharp flakes, almost like razors. These are used for finer work, for stripping meat from bones, or for preparing the hide. You're struck by the sheer variety and specialization of their stone toolkit, each shape and size designed for a specific purpose. It's not just a rock. It's a finely tuned instrument, the result of countless hours of trial and error. The sun beats down relentlessly, and the air shimmers with heat. The exertion of the butchering process is immense, even for those observing. You can see the sweat gleaming on the bodies of the workers, their muscles straining with each pull and cut. They work in a silent, coordinated effort, a seamless team driven by a common goal. This communal effort is a stark contrast to the individualistic nature of much of modern society. Here, everyone depends on everyone else. You find yourself drawn to the preparation of the hide. A few individuals, often women, begin the laborious process of scraping the inner membrane and flesh from the thick rhinoceros skin. It's a messy, arduous task that requires immense patience and strength. They use specialized scrapers, designed to remove every last bit of unwanted material, preparing the hide for tanning and eventually for use as clothing or shelter material. You can almost feel the coarseness of the hide, even from a distance. This intricate process of hide preparation speaks to the sophisticated knowledge held by Stone Age peoples. Historians still actively debate the precise methods of early hide tanning, with some theories suggesting the use of natural chemicals from plants or even brain matter to soften and preserve the skins. The idea of using an animal's own brain to treat its hide might seem gruesome, but it highlights the profound resourcefulness required for survival. It's a far cry from your local leather goods store. As the afternoon wears on, the clearing transforms into a bustling processing center. Meat is cut into smaller, manageable portions. Some pieces are set aside for immediate consumption, while others are prepared for transport or potential preservation. Bones are cleaned and stacked, ready to be fashioned into tools, needles, or even decorative items. Nothing is discarded without purpose. You witness the ultimate expression of sustainability, not as a lifestyle choice, but as a fundamental rule of existence. You notice the smaller children, once engrossed in their play, now hovering around the edges of the activity, their eyes wide with fascination. They are learning, absorbing every detail, preparing for their own future roles in the tribe. This isn't formal education, it's immersion, a continuous apprenticeship in the art of survival. They occasionally dart in to grab a discarded scrap of meat or bone, their instincts already honed. A few men begin to gather large, flat stones, placing them around the rekindled fire. These will serve as cooking surfaces. Other members of the group bring armfuls of dry wood, feeding the flames, building them higher. The crackle and pop of the fire is a comforting sound, a constant presence that symbolizes warmth, safety, and nourishment. The smell of wood smoke begins to mingle with the coppery scent of the meat, creating a unique and powerful aroma. Soon, pieces of meat are placed directly on the hot stones or impaled on sharpened sticks over the flames. The sizzling sound is immediate, and the aroma of roasting meat begins to fill the air, tantalizing your already ravenous stomach. This is the first cooked meal you'll have had in this new reality, and the anticipation is almost unbearable. You realize that cooking meat, besides making it safer and easier to digest, also unlocked new nutritional possibilities for early humans, a crucial step in their evolution. As the sun begins its slow descent towards the western horizon, casting long, golden shadows through the trees, the first pieces of cooked meat are ready. They are not artfully plated, not garnished with herbs, but simply raw, hearty sustenance. You are handed a piece, still warm, slightly charred on the outside, and incredibly tender within. You bite into it, and the flavor is intense, pure, unadulterated meat. It's the most satisfying meal you've ever had. Not because of its culinary sophistication, but because of the sheer effort and danger that went into obtaining it. There's no polite conversation, no casual chatter around this prehistoric dinner table. The focus is entirely on the food, on replenishing the energy expended throughout the day. Everyone eats with a primal intensity, their faces smeared with grease and satisfaction. You find yourself doing the same, shedding your modern inhibitions and embracing the basic, undeniable need to nourish your body. You feel the strength returning to your limbs with each bite, a deep sense of contentment settling over you. The communal aspect of this meal is powerful. Everyone shares in the bounty, a clear demonstration of the group's interdependence. The success of the hunters benefits all, and the collective processing of the kill ensures that everyone receives their share. This is a fundamental principle of Stone Age life. Cooperation is not just a nice idea. It is the very bedrock of survival. You watch as the sun dips lower, painting the sky in fiery hues of orange and purple. The forest, once a place of intimidating silence, now feels a little less hostile, softened by the presence of your tribe and the comforting glow of the fire. The distant sounds of the wild seem less threatening, absorbed into the rhythm of communal life. You realize that even in this harsh, unforgiving world, there are moments of peace, moments of shared humanity. As darkness begins to creep in, the air grows cooler, and the fire becomes even more important. It's not just a source of heat and light. It's a barrier against the unseen dangers of the night, a silent guardian. You feel a strange sense of belonging, a connection to these people who, despite their primitive existence, possess an undeniable resilience and a profound understanding of their world. You have lived through a day of hunting and feasting, a day that has irrevocably altered your perception of what it means to survive. The last vestiges of daylight fade, and the world outside the fire's comforting glow becomes a realm of impenetrable shadow. The air cools rapidly, and you instinctively huddle closer to the dancing flames, seeking their warmth. The crackle and hiss of the burning wood are now the dominant sounds, a rhythmic lullaby against the vast, silent backdrop of the ancient forest. Your earlier exhaustion, temporarily forgotten amidst the excitement of the hunt and the satisfaction of the meal, now settles deep into your bones. Every muscle aches, a dull throb that reminds you of the relentless physical demands of this existence. You look around at your companions. Some are already curled up, seemingly asleep, their forms barely visible in the shifting light. Others stare into the flames, their faces illuminated by the flickering light, lost in their own thoughts. There's a profound sense of quietude, a shared stillness that transcends language. No one is scrolling on a phone. No one is watching a screen. Their minds, you realize, are probably replaying the day's events, assessing risks, planning for tomorrow. This isn't just downtime, it's a critical period for mental processing and strategizing. The fire is not just a source of warmth and light, it's a psychological anchor, a symbol of safety in a world teeming with unknown dangers. You can feel its heat on your face, see its light pushing back the encroaching darkness. Without it, you would be utterly exposed, vulnerable to the predators that undoubtedly stalk the night. You hear the distant hoot of an owl, the rustle of unseen creatures in the undergrowth, sounds that, in your modern life, might be quaint. But here, they are pregnant with potential peril. Your mind, hyper-alert, translates every sound into a possible threat. One fascinating aspect of early human life, often overlooked, is the critical role fire played in shaping social structures. It wasn't just for cooking or warmth, it was a gathering place, a focal point for storytelling, learning, and bonding. Imagine the countless hours spent around these fires, sharing knowledge, forging alliances, and transmitting culture from one generation to the next. The fire literally brought people together, fostering community in a way that modern technology, ironically, sometimes divides. You remember an interesting tidbit about prehistoric fire use? While humans used fire for hundreds of thousands of years, the controlled, sustained use of fire, particularly for cooking, is believed by many archaeologists to have played a significant role in human brain development by making food more digestible and nutrient-rich. This simple act of putting meat over a flame might have been one of the most important innovations in human history, allowing for more efficient calorie intake and thus fueling larger, more complex brains. It's a sobering thought that the very thing keeping you warm tonight might have been a key driver of your own species' intelligence. As the night deepens, the air becomes surprisingly cold. You pull the rough animal skin closer around you, grateful for its crude insulation. Sleep doesn't come easily. Your body aches, your mind races, and every unfamiliar sound keeps you on edge. You hear the soft, rhythmic breathing of your companions, a comforting presence in the vast darkness. You realize that you are truly dependent on this group, on their collective strength and wisdom. Without them, you would be lost, a mere morsel in a brutal ecosystem. The moon, a sliver of silver light, begins to rise above the trees, casting long, eerie shadows that dance and shift with the gentle breeze. The forest, once a vibrant landscape of green and brown, now transforms into a monochromatic world of shades of gray and black. The familiarity of daylight is gone, replaced by a sense of mystery and potential danger. Your eyes strain, trying to pierce the gloom, but the darkness is absolute beyond the fire's reach. You feel a constant awareness of your surroundings, a primal instinct for self-preservation that you never knew you possessed. Every snap of a twig, every rustle of leaves, makes you tense. You learn to discern between the innocuous sounds of the forest and those that signal a potential threat. It's an exhausting mental exercise, but a necessary one. There are no safe spaces here, no locked doors, no security systems. Only vigilance and the protection of your group. Archaeologists still debate the exact patterns of early human sleep, but it's widely believed that sleep would have been fragmented, with individuals taking turns as sentinels to guard against predators and other threats. You notice that some members of your group periodically stir, check the fire, and scan the darkness, reinforcing this idea of shared responsibility for safety. This isn't a world where everyone gets a solid 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. It's a world where sleep is a calculated risk, a brief respite from the constant demands of survival. You close your eyes, trying to conjure images of your old life, your comfortable bed, your favorite blanket, the gentle hum of your refrigerator. But the images are fading, replaced by the stark realities of your present. The scent of wood smoke, the feel of rough animal skins, the distant sounds of the wild, these are becoming your new normal. You are adapting, slowly but surely, to this raw, unfiltered existence. It's a transformation you never anticipated, a stripping away of all the comforts and conveniences you once took for granted. A sudden, sharp cry pierces the night, a sound that makes your blood run cold. It's a small animal, perhaps caught by a predator. The sound is quickly stifled, leaving only a chilling silence in its wake. Your heart pounds in your chest, a frantic drumbeat against your ribs. You instinctively press yourself closer to the ground, trying to become invisible. The others in your group stir, their expressions grim. No one speaks. The shared understanding of the dangers lurking in the darkness is palpable. You realize that fear is a constant companion in this world, an ever-present undercurrent that shapes every decision, every action. It's not a debilitating fear, but a functional one, a finely tuned instinct that keeps you alive. It reminds you to be cautious, to be aware, to rely on your tribe. It's a far cry from the abstract fears of modern life, the fear of public speaking, the fear of missing out. Here, the fears are tangible, immediate, and utterly real. As the night wears on, the moon climbs higher, casting its ethereal light onto the ancient trees. The air grows even colder, and you shiver, despite the warmth of the fire. You find yourself drifting in and out of sleep, a light, restless slumber punctuated by moments of acute awareness. You dream of warmth, of soft fabrics, of a world where food appears magically in a refrigerator. But then you wake, and the reality of the Stone Age crashes over you once more. You think about the ingenuity and resilience of these early humans, your temporary companions. They faced unimaginable challenges every single day. Hunger, thirst, extreme weather, dangerous predators, disease. Yet, they not only survived but thrived, developing complex tools, social structures, and even early forms of art and language. Their existence was a constant testament to the indomitable human spirit, a relentless drive to persist and adapt. As the pre-dawn glow begins to paint the eastern sky, a faint, almost imperceptible lightening of the horizon, you feel a surge of quiet relief. The night, with its hidden terrors, is slowly receding. The first bird calls begin, tentative at first, then growing in number and confidence, announcing the arrival of a new day. You survived. You actually survived the night in the Stone Age. A sense of accomplishment, however small, washes over you. You are still dirty, still tired, still uncomfortable, but you are alive. And with the dawn comes a renewed sense of purpose, the quiet understanding that another day of challenges awaits. Another day where every decision, every action, will be a direct determinant of your survival. The rhythm of Stone Age life, a relentless cycle of need and fulfillment, fear and triumph, is becoming your own. And as the sun begins to peek over the horizon, painting the sky in soft pastels, you prepare yourself for whatever the new day will bring. As the first full light of day washes over the ancient forest, you pull yourself to your feet, your limbs stiff and protesting. The cold dampness of the earth beneath your animal skin bedroll has seeped into your bones, and a shiver runs through you. You rub your arms, trying to generate some warmth, and cast a glance at the dying embers of the fire. A faint wisp of smoke still curling upwards. The thought of a hot cup of coffee, a warm shower, feels like a distant, impossible dream. Here, warmth is earned, and cleanliness is a concept yet to be fully grasped. The familiar aches and pains are now a constant companion, a dull throb that reminds you of the relentless physical demands of this Stone Age existence. Your hands, once soft and accustomed to keyboards and touchscreens, are now rough and calloused, a testament to the brief but intense manual labor you've endured. You look at them, almost as if they belong to someone else. These new, capable hands, ready for the challenges of survival. The tribe stirs with the rising sun, a quiet, efficient awakening. There's no alarm clock, no hurried scramble. Each individual seems to know their role, their purpose. Some tend to the fire, coaxing new flames from the smoldering embers. Others retrieve the remainder of the rhinoceros meat from the previous day. Its aroma, even cold, still drawing your attention. You realize that a major part of each day here revolves around the fundamental human need for sustenance. You notice a small group of women gathering bundles of fibrous plants. Their movements nimble and practiced, they begin to separate the tough strands, twisting and braiding them into surprisingly strong cords. You recall a detail from a book you once skimmed. The innovation of rope and cordage in the Stone Age was crucial, enabling early humans to create snares, nets, fishing lines, and even to bind tools more securely to handles, significantly expanding their capabilities. This simple act of twisting fibers together represents a massive leap in technological advancement, a fundamental building block for countless other inventions. The women work with focused intensity, their fingers moving with incredible speed and precision. You try to mimic their movements, picking up a few strands of the plant material. Your clumsy attempts result in tangled messes, frustratingly far from the strong, even cords they produce. They glance at your efforts, a faint amusement in their eyes, then gently correct your technique, showing you the proper twist, the right tension. It's a silent lesson, a direct transfer of ancient knowledge, and you feel a humbling sense of gratitude for their patience. As the morning progresses, the tribe begins to disperse, each small group setting out for specific tasks. Some head towards the river, likely to check on fishing traps or to gather water. Others disappear into the deeper forest, perhaps in search of specific plants or to scout for more game. There's a clear division of labor, a specialization that allows the group to maximize its efficiency in this demanding environment. You realize that while individual survival is paramount, it is the collective effort that truly ensures the well-being of the tribe. You find yourself drawn to the group heading towards a rocky outcrop in the distance, an area where you suspect they gather flint or other suitable stones for tool-making. The journey is arduous, up a gradual incline, the ground uneven and unforgiving. You step carefully, constantly scanning your surroundings, aware of the rustle of leaves, the snap of twigs, the distant calls of unseen animals. The forest is alive, and you are a part of its intricate, sometimes dangerous, tapestry. Upon reaching the outcrop, you see why it's so important. The ground is littered with flakes of stone, discarded pieces from previous tool-making sessions. Several members of the group are already at work, their rhythmic clink, clink, clink echoing softly through the air. They are not simply breaking rocks, they are sculpting them, transforming raw material into precision instruments. You witness the sheer artistry involved in flint knapping, the process of striking a stone with another stone to remove flakes, shaping it into a desired form. One of the less obvious but incredibly significant details about Stone Age toolmaking is the deep geological knowledge early humans possessed. They knew precisely where to find the best quality stone for their tools, often traveling significant distances to quarry specific types of flint or obsidian that flaked predictably and held a sharp edge. This wasn't accidental. It was a testament to generations of accumulated knowledge and deliberate resource management. It makes your reliance on Amazon Prime for immediate delivery seem rather quaint. You watch as a man, his hands gnarled and powerful, holds a core of flint and strikes it with a hammerstone. A perfect flake detaches, thin and sharp as glass. He then takes a smaller bone or antler tool and begins to apply pressure to the edges of the flake, creating a series of tiny, precise chips. This is pressure flaking, the final stage of refinement, allowing for the creation of incredibly sharp and delicate edges, perfect for cutting or piercing. You are mesmerized by the dexterity and skill involved. This isn't just craftsmanship, it's a profound understanding of physics and material science, all without a single textbook or laboratory. Archaeologists continue to debate the extent to which distinct tool-making cultures emerged in different regions during the Stone Age, with some arguing for widespread independent invention and others for patterns of cultural diffusion through trade and migration. The sheer consistency of certain tool types across vast geographical areas hints at either incredibly similar human ingenuity or ancient networks of knowledge exchange that predate any written history. It's a tantalizing mystery, this silent communication of techniques across millennia. You pick up a discarded flake, running your thumb carefully along its edge. It's incredibly sharp, easily capable of slicing through skin. You feel a new appreciation for the dangers involved in using these tools, and for the skill required to make them without injuring oneself. These aren't factory-produced implements. They are handcrafted, each with its own subtle imperfections, each a unique extension of the maker's will. As the midday sun reaches its zenith, the heat becomes almost unbearable. The rocky outcrop offers little shade, and you feel the sweat pouring down your face, stinging your eyes. Thirst, once again, becomes a pressing concern. You see others pause their work, briefly cupping their hands and taking sips of water from small animal bladders they carry, a precious commodity. You realize that hydration, like food, is a constant struggle, a battle against the elements that never truly ends. You try your hand at striking a smaller piece of flint, attempting to emulate the precise movements you observed. The result is a series of clumsy, uncontrolled blows, producing nothing but dull, useless chunks of stone. You hit your finger, a sharp, immediate pain, and quickly retreat, realizing that this skill is not something to be learned in an afternoon. It requires years of practice, a deep understanding of the stone, and an almost intuitive sense of where and how to strike. It's a humbling reminder of your limitations in this ancient world. The rhythmic chipping of stone continues, a testament to the relentless pursuit of perfection in toolmaking. Every successful flake, every perfectly formed blade, is a small victory against the harsh realities of survival. These tools are their lifeline, their means of procuring food, building shelter, and protecting themselves. Without them, they would be utterly helpless. As the sun begins its slow descent, signaling the approach of evening, the group at the quarry starts to pack up. They carefully gather the best flakes, the most promising cores, and the newly fashioned tools, you notice a sense of quiet satisfaction on their faces, the pride of a job well done. They have literally forged their survival from the earth itself. You follow them back towards the main camp, the journey feeling longer and more tiring than the way out. Your feet ache, your shoulders burn, and the constant mental vigilance has left you utterly drained. But there's also a strange sense of accomplishment, a deep, primal satisfaction in having been part of this essential activity. You have witnessed firsthand the ingenuity and tireless effort required to create the very foundations of human civilization. The tools they held in their hands were not just objects, they were extensions of their will, symbols of their resilience, and the very key to their existence in a world that constantly tested their limits. As you return to the main camp, the last vestiges of twilight are painting the western sky in hues of deep orange and purple. The air is growing noticeably cooler, and the faint scent of wood smoke, mingling with the earthy aroma of the forest, promises the comfort of fire. Your body is a symphony of aches, each step a reminder of the day's physical demands, but there's a quiet satisfaction in having contributed, however minimally, to the tribe's ongoing survival. You are no longer just an observer. You are, in some small way, a participant. The fire, now tended by a few members of the tribe, glows brightly, its flames leaping and dancing, casting long, shifting shadows across the clearing. You instinctively gravitate towards its warmth, feeling the pleasant heat on your skin, a stark contrast to the rapidly chilling air. This fire, you realize, is more than just a source of warmth or a means to cook. It's the heart of the camp, a beacon of safety and community in the vast, dangerous wilderness. As the evening progresses, a different rhythm settles over the camp. The intense focus on survival tasks gives way to a quieter, more communal atmosphere. Individuals gather around the fire, some still gnawing on pieces of the rhinoceros meat, others simply basking in the warmth. There's a subtle shift in their demeanor, a relaxation that comes with the successful conclusion of another day. You observe a small group gathered a little apart from the main fire, their voices low and melodic. They are not speaking in your language, but the cadence of their words, the way they gesture, suggests a story being told. You lean in, trying to understand, but the words are just sounds, ancient and unfamiliar. Yet, the expressions on their faces, awe, fear, amusement, tell a story in themselves. You realize that storytelling, even in its most primitive form, is a fundamental human need, a way to transmit knowledge, share experiences, and connect with one shared history. One fascinating, often debated aspect of early human culture is the emergence of complex language and its role in coordinating hunts and transmitting intricate knowledge. While we can't definitively know what sounds or structures they used, the sheer complexity of their behaviors, like coordinated hunting strategies and tool-making, strongly suggests a sophisticated level of communication far beyond simple grunts. Imagine the vivid tales of daring hunts, of close escapes from predators, shared around these very fires. It's their equivalent of a blockbuster movie, but with much higher stakes. As you sit by the fire, mesmerized by the flickering flames, you notice a woman carefully examining a piece of the rhinoceros bone. She then takes a small, sharp stone tool and begins to chip away at it. Not with the force used for butchering, but with delicate, precise movements. She is shaping it, smoothing its edges, perhaps preparing it for use as a tool, a needle, or even a decorative item. This isn't about raw necessity. It's about craftsmanship, about transforming raw materials into something more refined, something that speaks to a deeper human impulse. This leads to a lesser-known detail about Stone Age life beyond purely utilitarian objects. Early humans created a surprising array of non-functional items, including beads made from shells or animal teeth, carved figurines, and even musical instruments like bone flutes. These artifacts suggest a rich inner life, a concern with aesthetics, ritual, and symbolic expression, far beyond what's needed for mere survival. It means that even in this brutal world, there was art. There was beauty, there was meaning. You find yourself wondering about their understanding of the world around them. Did they have myths, legends, a cosmology to explain the rising sun, the roaring thunder, the changing seasons? You see them look up at the vast canopy of stars, far clearer and brighter than any you've ever seen through city lights. Do they see constellations? Tell stories about the celestial hunters, or the spirits of their ancestors. The sheer mystery of it is captivating. Scholars continue to debate the origins and precise meanings of Paleolithic cave art, with theories ranging from hunting magic and ritualistic practices to expressions of shamanism or simple storytelling. The incredible cave paintings, often found deep within dark caverns, suggest a profound spiritual or symbolic connection to the animal world and the unseen forces of nature. Standing here, in the actual environment that inspired such art, you can almost feel the presence of those ancient beliefs, the reverence for the wild, the attempt to make sense of a world both awe-inspiring and terrifying. As the night deepens, the air grows significantly colder. You burrow deeper into your animal furs, trying to conserve every bit of body heat. The fire, though still burning, seems less effective against the pervasive chill. You realize that shelter is not just a daytime concern. It's a constant battle against the elements, a struggle for warmth and protection that extends through the long, dark hours. You remember the brief, rudimentary shelter you woke in this morning? A mere depression in the earth? It offered minimal protection. You realize the tribe is likely quite mobile, following game and seasonal resources, and thus their shelters would be temporary, easily constructed, and easily abandoned. Perhaps they use natural caves when available, but in open forest, something quick and adaptable is necessary. You can imagine the subtle sounds of the forest at night, the rustling leaves that might be a small animal, or something far larger and more dangerous. Your senses remain on high alert, even as exhaustion tugs at you. The concept of deep, undisturbed sleep feels utterly alien here. Every now and then, you hear someone stir, adding more wood to the fire, or simply shifting to get more comfortable. This shared vigilance is a constant, unspoken agreement among the tribe. You think about your own place in this ancient world. You are a stranger, an anomaly, a ghost from the future. Yet, you are surviving. You are learning. You are adapting. The sheer resilience of the human spirit, stripped bare of all its modern conveniences, is astonishing. You are finding a strength within yourself you never knew existed, a primal drive to simply endure. As the moon arcs higher across the sky, painting the world in shades of silver and black, you drift into a fitful sleep. Your dreams are a chaotic mix of prehistoric landscapes and fleeting images from your modern life. You see the massive form of the woolly rhinoceros, its breath steaming in the cold air. Then a sudden flash of a city skyline. The two worlds clash, intertwine, a testament to the profound shift in your reality. You wake with a start, not to an alarm, but to the subtle shift in the air, the faint lightening of the sky through the trees. Another night has passed. Another day awaits. The challenges are still immense, the dangers ever present, but you have endured. The fire, now reduced to glowing embers, provides a last bit of warmth before the sun fully reclaims the sky. You push yourself up, feeling the familiar aches, but also a growing sense of quiet determination. You are alive. And in the Stone Age, that is the most important fact of all. You stir again as the eastern sky begins its slow, ethereal transformation from charcoal gray to soft rose. The chill of the early morning is pervasive, a damp coolness that seeps into your bones, and you instinctively pull the rough animal hides tighter around you. The fire, which had been your constant companion through the long night, is now little more than a pile of glowing embers, its warmth a fading memory. The first, tentative bird songs begin to pierce the quiet of the forest, a gentle reminder that another day in the Stone Age has dawned. Your body, despite the short and restless sleep, feels slightly more accustomed to the hard ground and the constant aches. The novelty of discomfort is slowly giving way to a weary acceptance. You push yourself up, your muscles protesting, but with less urgency than yesterday. You're learning the rhythm of this life, a relentless cycle of physical exertion and brief, often uncomfortable, respite. As the light strengthens, you notice a subtle shift in the camp's atmosphere. There's a quiet hum of preparation, a sense of purpose that doesn't require words. Members of the tribe begin to move with a practiced efficiency, their actions almost meditative. Some retrieve their simple tools, a sharpened digging stick, a woven basket, while others carefully tend to the remaining meat from the previous day's hunt, preparing it for the morning meal. Your stomach, a reliable alarm clock in this new reality, rumbles, food, again, is the immediate priority. You watch as a few individuals, mostly women and older children, begin to gather small, round stones, heating them gently in the dying embers of the fire. You realize they're preparing for a different kind of meal, perhaps something that involves cooking the collected roots or berries. The ingenuity of their methods, adapted to the limited resources at hand, continues to impress you. One interesting and often overlooked aspect of Stone Age diets is the significant role of plant-based foods, especially for the gatherer groups or within broader hunter-gatherer societies. While large game hunting often gets the spotlight, archaeological evidence from dental ware and botanical remains suggests a diverse diet rich in roots, tubers, berries, nuts, and seeds. This varied diet was crucial for providing essential vitamins and minerals that meat alone couldn't supply. You join a small group heading towards a patch of dense undergrowth not far from the camp. They move with an almost imperceptible grace, their bare feet silent on the forest floor. You, however, stumble occasionally, snagging your crude clothing on thorns and roots. Your eyes, still adjusting to the nuances of the wild, struggle to distinguish edible plants from poisonous ones, or safe pathways from hidden dangers. The leader of this small foraging party, an older woman with keen eyes and nimble fingers, stops at a cluster of low-lying bushes. She points to a specific type of berry, dark and plump, and then quickly demonstrates how to pluck them without damaging the plant. You try to imitate her, and while your initial attempts are clumsy, you quickly get the hang of it. The berries are tart but sweet, a burst of flavor that momentarily makes you forget your discomfort. This is real food, plucked directly from the earth, and the connection feels incredibly primal and satisfying. As you move through the undergrowth, she points out various plants, some for food, others for medicinal purposes, and some to be avoided entirely. Her knowledge is encyclopedic, an intimate understanding of every leaf, every root, every subtle change in the environment. This isn't theoretical knowledge, it's practical, essential, passed down through generations. You realize that your modern education, vast as it might be, pales in comparison to her deep, practical wisdom of survival. A less commonly discussed detail about early human foraging is the sophisticated knowledge of seasonal cycles and plant succession that would have been essential for their survival. They weren't just randomly picking plants. They knew exactly when and where to find specific resources throughout the year, optimizing their foraging efforts and ensuring a consistent food supply. This deep ecological understanding allowed them to thrive in diverse environments. Suddenly, the leader freezes, her hand raised. Her eyes scan the area, her body tensed. You instinctively stop, your heart pounding. Is it a predator? A rival tribe? The air vibrates with unspoken tension. She points to a cluster of small, delicate mushrooms growing at the base of a decaying log. Her expression is solemn, and she quickly gestures for everyone to avoid them. She then explains, through a series of gestures and simple sounds, that these are dangerous, that they can cause great harm. Archaeologists and anthropologists continue to debate the extent of early humans' pharmacological knowledge, but evidence from ancient middens and burial sites suggests a practical understanding of medicinal plants, as well as those with toxic or psychoactive properties. This subtle warning about the mushrooms highlights a critical aspect of their survival, The need to constantly assess risks, to distinguish between beneficial and harmful elements in their environment. It makes you realize how many layers of protection and processed knowledge exist in your modern world, shielding you from such immediate, potentially deadly decisions. You continue to gather, filling your makeshift woven basket with berries and edible roots. The sun climbs higher, and the air grows warmer, the humidity of the forest becoming more pronounced. The work is repetitive, but there's a meditative quality to it, a focus on the immediate task that quiets the frantic worries of your modern mind. You are fully present, entirely immersed in the act of gathering, a raw connection to the source of your sustenance. As you head back towards the camp, your basket heavier with the morning's bounty, you feel a sense of quiet triumph. You have contributed. You have learned. You have survived another few hours in this demanding world. The collective effort of the tribe, the shared knowledge and specialized skills, is what makes their survival possible. You are a small but increasingly integrated part of this ancient human family. The aroma of roasting roots and simmering meat greets you as you approach the camp. The fires are now well established, and various parts of the rhinoceros meat are being cooked, along with the newly gathered plants. The shared meal is simple, yet incredibly satisfying, a testament to the hard work and collective effort that goes into every bite. You eat slowly, savoring each mouthful, acutely aware of the preciousness of every calorie. As the afternoon progresses, you find yourself drawn into the communal tasks of the camp. You help sort the gathered plants, prepare more firewood, and even attempt to clean some of the animal hides, a task far more demanding and unpleasant than you could have imagined. Your hands ache, your back protests, but you persist, driven by the unspoken understanding that every effort contributes to the group's survival. This isn't just work, it's a fundamental expression of existence, a constant negotiation with the natural world. The sun begins its slow descent towards the horizon, casting long, golden shadows through the trees. The air grows cooler, and the sounds of the forest begin to change. The daytime chirps and rustles giving way to the deeper, more mysterious calls of twilight creatures. Another day is drawing to a close, another cycle of survival complete. You are weary, but there's a profound sense of accomplishment, a quiet pride in having endured. The Stone Age continues to be a relentless teacher, stripping away the inessentials and revealing the fundamental strength of the human spirit. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery streaks of orange and purple, the cool evening air begins to creep in, carrying with it the damp scent of the forest floor. You gather closer to the communal fire, its flickering flames now casting long, dancing shadows that stretch and warp across the clearing. The day's activities have left you utterly drained, a deep, pervasive weariness that settles into your bones. Yet there's a strange sense of contentment that comes with having successfully navigated another day in this raw, unfiltered existence. The sounds of the forest, once intimidating, now seem to fold into the background hum of the camp. The distant hoot of an owl, the rustle of unseen creatures in the undergrowth. They are still present. But the immediate fear they once evoked has dulled, replaced by a weary acceptance of the world's untamed nature. You are becoming part of this environment, slowly shedding your modern anxieties for the more immediate, primal concerns of survival. You notice a small group of children and a few older individuals gathered around a section of the rhinoceros hide, which has been meticulously cleaned and stretched out. They are not simply preparing it for use, they are working on it with a delicate precision that suggests a purpose beyond mere utility. With sharpened bone tools, they begin to incise patterns, geometric shapes, and what look like abstract representations of animals onto the tough surface. This isn't just about making clothes or shelter, it's about making meaning. This brings to mind a crucial, yet often underestimated, aspect of Stone Age life: the profound human impulse for artistic expression and symbolic thought. The magnificent cave paintings found in places like Lascaux and Altamira are the most famous examples. but evidence suggests that early humans decorated tools, personal ornaments, and even their shelters. This wasn't merely decorative, it was likely deeply tied to spiritual beliefs, ritual practices, and the transmission of cultural knowledge. Imagine the stories, the rituals, the beliefs that informed these intricate designs. You lean closer, fascinated by the intricate details emerging under their skilled hands. The patterns are not random. They seem to follow a logic, a visual language that you can't decipher but can sense. One individual, older and with incredibly steady hands, dips a small stick into a mixture of earth pigments and animal fat, then carefully applies it to the incised lines, bringing the patterns to life with color. The patience and precision required for such work are astonishing, especially considering the crude tools at their disposal. A less commonly known detail about early prehistoric art is the wide variety of mediums used beyond cave walls. Bone, antler, stone, and even clay were adorned with carvings, engravings, and pigments. Some of these smaller portable pieces, often called mobiliary art, could have been used in personal rituals or as talismans. This suggests a rich personal spiritual life and a profound connection to the symbolic world that extended beyond large, public displays. As you watch, you wonder about the stories behind these images. Are they depicting successful hunts, powerful animal spirits, or perhaps the journeys of their ancestors? The air around them seems to hum with a quiet reverence, a sense of deep connection to something ancient and profound. This is their way of making sense of the world, of communicating their beliefs, of leaving their mark on a fleeting existence. Scholars actively debate the exact social and ritualistic contexts in which early human art was created and utilized, with various theories proposing its function in hunting magic, initiation rites, shamanistic practices, or as a form of social cohesion and identity. The lack of written records leaves much open to interpretation, but the sheer effort and skill involved in creating these artworks point to their immense significance within these ancient societies. It makes you realize that even without sprawling cities or complex governments, humans built rich and meaningful cultures. As the artists work, the communal fire continues to crackle, providing warmth and light. The other members of the tribe are engaged in their own quiet activities, repairing tools, sharing small scraps of food, or simply resting. The atmosphere is one of peaceful coexistence, a rare moment of respite in a world defined by struggle. You feel a strange sense of privilege, witnessing this intimate glimpse into the inner life of Stone Age people, a side of their existence often overshadowed by the focus on survival. You feel a gentle drowsiness stealing over you, the exhaustion of the day finally catching up, the constant mental vigilance, the physical exertion, the raw intensity of it all, it's taking its toll. You lean against a sturdy tree trunk, pulling your animal furs tighter, feeling the rough texture against your cheek, the sounds of the artists at work, the low hum of their voices, the rhythmic scraping of tools, become a soothing lullaby. As the moon rises higher, casting an ethereal glow through the thinning canopy of trees, the camp settles into a deeper quiet. The artists, too, eventually stop their work, carefully placing their tools in the decorated hide aside. The fire, though still burning, has softened, its flames now a gentle pulse of light against the encroaching darkness. A few individuals take turns tending the fire, ensuring its warmth and protection throughout the night. You drift in and out of sleep, your mind a swirling mix of ancient imagery and fragmented memories of your modern life. The sheer simplicity of this existence, stripped of all its technological layers, is both terrifying and oddly liberating. You are forced to confront the most fundamental aspects of what it means to be human, to survive, to adapt, to connect, and to find meaning even in the harshest of realities. You survived another night. The quiet triumph of this realization settles over you. You are still alive, still learning, still adapting. The Stone Age continues to be your teacher, revealing the immense resilience of the human spirit, the ingenuity born of necessity, and the enduring power of community. As the first faint streaks of dawn begin to appear on the horizon, promising a new day and new challenges. You prepare yourself for whatever the ancient world will throw at you next. You wake with a start, not to a jarring alarm, but to the subtle shift in the forest's symphony. The night's deep quiet has begun to yield to the tentative chirps of morning birds, a gentle, ancient melody that signals the slow return of daylight. The air is crisp, carrying the damp scent of dew-kissed leaves and the faint, comforting aroma of dying embers. Your body aches in familiar places, a constant hum of discomfort that has become your new normal. A testament to another night survived in the relentless embrace of the Stone Age. As the first faint streaks of dawn paint the eastern sky in soft hues of gray and pink, you push yourself up from your rough bed of furs and leaves. The chill of the earth still seeps into your bones, but the deep, pervasive cold of the midnight hours has receded. You rub your arms, trying to generate some warmth, and cast a glance at the central fire. Now a low glow, a testament to someone's overnight vigil. The camp stirs around you, a quiet, purposeful awakening. There's no rushed morning routine, no frantic dash for coffee. Each individual moves with an efficient grace, their actions born of necessity and generations of ingrained habit. Some begin to gather more firewood, their movements silent as they slip into the still dark edges of the forest. Others, mostly women and older children, start preparing the remnants of yesterday's feast, carefully portioning out pieces of roasted rhinoceros meat and a handful of gathered berries. Your stomach rumbles, a visceral reminder of the constant need for sustenance. You watch as a few members of the tribe meticulously inspect their hunting tools. Spears. Atlatls, a spear-throwing device you've seen them use with incredible accuracy, and sharpened stone knives. Their focus is absolute, their movements precise. This isn't just about preparing for a day's work, it's about preparing for a potential life or death encounter. One fascinating aspect of early human hunting, often overlooked, is the intricate knowledge of animal behavior and ecology that was essential for success. Hunters wouldn't just randomly chase animals, they understood migration patterns, feeding habits, vulnerabilities, and even the subtle signs of a creature's presence, like disturbed vegetation or faint tracks. This deep, intuitive understanding of their prey was as crucial as their tools and physical prowess. You feel a surge of nervous excitement mixed with a healthy dose of fear. Today, it seems, you will be accompanying a hunting party. While you won't be in the front lines, your presence as a silent observer, learning the ancient ways, feels like a monumental step. You are no longer just existing. You are actively participating in the core activity of Stone Age survival. You secure your crude animal skin tunic, taking a deep breath of the cool, damp air. The hunting party is comprised of several burly men, their bodies lean and muscled, their faces etched with the seriousness of their task. They communicate with subtle gestures, quiet grunts, and shared glances, a nonverbal language born of deep trust and shared experience. You try to mimic their movements, learning to walk with a lighter step, to avoid snapping twigs, to blend into the shadows of the still dim forest. As you move deeper into the woods, the canopy thickens, blocking out much of the nascent sunlight. The air becomes cooler, and the sounds of the forest grow more pronounced, the rustle of leaves underfoot, the distant calls of unseen birds, the buzz of insects. Your senses are on high alert, scanning every shadow, every movement, your modern brain slowly rewiring itself to interpret these ancient signals. A less common, but highly significant detail about Stone Age hunting is the use of cooperative strategies that often involved entire groups, including women and children, for tasks like driving animals into ambushes or surrounds. While the image of a lone male hunter is pervasive, many large game hunts likely involved collective effort, requiring complex communication and coordination. This makes the hunt not just a physical challenge, but a social one. The hunters move with an astonishing stealth, their bare feet seemingly floating over the uneven terrain. They point out subtle signs to each other: a broken branch, a disturbance in the leaf litter, a faint scent on the wind. These are not just clues, they are chapters in a story, telling them what animals have passed through, when, and in what direction. It's like reading an invisible book of the forest, a skill that feels utterly beyond your comprehension. Suddenly, the lead hunter freezes. Raising a hand, everyone stops, silent, like statues carved from the forest itself. Your heart pounds in your chest, a frantic drumbeat against your ribs. You strain your eyes, trying to see what they see, but the dense foliage reveals nothing. Then, a faint sound reaches your ears, a snorting, a shuffling. It's close, too close. The hunters crouch low, their spears held ready. You instinctively drop to your knees, pressing yourself against the damp earth, trying to become invisible. The air hangs thick with tension, a primal fear that you've never experienced before. This is it. This is the moment of confrontation, where the line between predator and prey blurs. Scholars still actively debate the precise methods and efficacy of early human hunting weapons, particularly the atlatl versus the spear, and how these technological advancements influence the types of prey they could reliably take down. The archaeological record, with its diverse array of projectile points, suggests a constant innovation in hunting technology, each improvement offering a slight edge in the brutal struggle for survival. You can see the deadly potential in the hands of these skilled hunters. Their focus absolute. Through a small gap in the leaves, you catch a glimpse of the animal. It's a wild boar, its shaggy coat bristling, its tusks long and dangerous. It's rooting around in the undergrowth, oblivious to the silent threat surrounding it. Your breath catches in your throat. This isn't a docile farm animal. This is a powerful, aggressive creature, capable of inflicting serious injury with a single charge. The hunters, with a sudden, coordinated movement, spring from their hiding places. They move with incredible speed and agility. Surrounding the boar, the air fills with shouts, grunts, and the thud of spears finding their mark. The boar squeals, a high-pitched shriek of pain and rage, and charges. A terrifying blur of muscle and tusks. You watch, transfixed, as the hunters deftly dodge its attacks. Their movements a choreographed dance of survival. The struggle is brief but violent. The boar, wounded but still dangerous, lashes out. But the hunters are too quick, too coordinated. More spears find their mark. And finally, with a last, desperate grunt, the massive animal collapses, its body twitching, then still. A wave of profound relief washes over you, leaving you weak with adrenaline. They did it? They actually did it. The hunters are exhausted, their chests heaving, but their faces are grimly satisfied. They approach the fallen boar cautiously, ensuring it's truly dead before beginning the laborious process of butchering. You see the raw pride in their eyes, the quiet triumph of having secured another meal, another day of survival for their tribe. This isn't just a kill. It's a profound affirmation of their skill, their courage, and their place in this ancient world. You are deeply, profoundly humbled by what you have witnessed. The sun is beginning its slow descent, painting the western sky in streaks of deep orange and fiery red as you make your way back to camp. The air, though still warm from the day's heat, carries the subtle promise of the cool evening ahead. Your body is a symphony of aches, each muscle protesting the long hours of trekking and the intense adrenaline of the hunt. Yet, despite the exhaustion, there's a profound sense of satisfaction that settles deep within you, a quiet triumph born of survival. You have faced the Stone Age, and for another day, you have endured. The camp, when you finally reach it, is abuzz with activity. The successful boar hunt has brought a renewed sense of purpose and relief. Already, the butchering is underway, a communal effort where every member, from the strongest hunter to the nimble children, plays a role. The air is thick with the earthy scent of fresh meat and the promise of a hearty meal. You watch as skilled hands meticulously process the carcass, nothing wasted, every part destined to serve a purpose for the tribe. You find a spot by the rekindled fire, its flames now leaping and dancing, casting a warm, inviting glow. The heat feels like a balm on your tired muscles, a comforting presence against the encroaching chill of evening. You reflect on the day, on the raw, unfiltered reality you've inhabited. There are no distractions here, no screens, no notifications, just the immediate, tangible demands of existence. It's a stripped-down life, brutal in its simplicity, yet profoundly real. You recall the morning's awakening, the shock of the hard ground and the wild sounds, the constant vigilance required, the way your senses, dulled by modern life, have sharpened to interpret every rustle, every scent. You remember the shared meal from the rhinoceros, the deep satisfaction of truly earned sustenance, and then the harrowing experience of the boar hunt, the terrifying proximity to danger, the exhilarating triumph of the kill. Each moment has been a lesson, etched not just into your mind, but into the very fabric of your being. One of the more unique insights into Stone Age life, often forgotten in the grand narratives of hunting and tool-making, is the deep connection these people had with the cycles of nature, a knowledge far beyond what most modern humans possess. Their lives were utterly intertwined with the seasons, the migration of animals, the fruiting of plants, and the very rhythms of the earth. They didn't just observe nature, they were a part of it, their survival dependent on reading its subtle cues. This intimate relationship fostered a profound respect, and likely, a spiritual connection to their environment. As the sun finally dips below the horizon, plunging the forest into shadow, the camp transforms into a hub of activity centered around the fire. Pieces of the freshly butchered boar are placed on hot stones, sizzling and spitting, releasing tantalizing aromas into the air. The communal feast that follows is a quiet, intense affair. Each bite savored, each calorie appreciated. This isn't just dinner, it's a celebration of survival, a reinforcement of the bonds that hold the tribe together. You notice the quiet camaraderie among the members of the tribe. There are no loud conversations, no boisterous jokes, but a deep, unspoken understanding. Shared glances, subtle nods, and the rhythmic sounds of eating create a profound sense of unity. Every individual contributes, and every individual benefits. This deep interdependence is the bedrock of their society, a stark contrast to the often individualistic nature of your own world. Scholars continue to debate the precise forms of social organization in various Stone Age societies, with theories ranging from small, egalitarian bands to more complex tribal structures with nascent forms of hierarchy. However, the consistent evidence points to strong communal bonds, a necessity for survival in a world where individual effort alone would rarely be enough. Witnessing this firsthand, you understand the strength that comes from true collective reliance. As the night deepens and the last of the food is consumed, a peaceful quiet settles over the camp. The fire, now well fed, casts its warm, flickering light, providing comfort and protection against the unseen dangers of the night. You find yourself gazing into the flames, mesmerized by their dance, your mind drifting through the day's experiences. You think about the sheer ingenuity of these people, crafting sophisticated tools from simple stone, mastering fire, and developing complex strategies for survival. You reflect on your own journey, from a disoriented stranger to a quiet participant. You've learned that comfort is a luxury, not a given. You've discovered a resilience within yourself you never knew existed. The anxieties of your modern life, the deadlines, the traffic, the endless stream of information seem utterly trivial in comparison to the immediate, fundamental struggle for food, water, and shelter. The Stone Age has been a brutal, yet profoundly transformative teacher. It has stripped away the superficial layers of modern existence, revealing the core human drives to survive, to connect, to create, and to find meaning in a world both beautiful and terrifying. You are tired, dirty, and ready for sleep. But there is a strange sense of peace, a deep, quiet understanding of the human condition that only this raw experience could provide. As you close your eyes, the sounds of the ancient forest become a gentle lullaby, carrying you into the sleep of one who has truly lived a day in the Stone Age. Số thứ 200, hết truyện, tiếp tục chương cuối. The flickering embers of the campfire slowly fade, their orange glow softening into a deep, warm red. The ancient forest breathes around you, a symphony of night sounds, the gentle rustle of leaves, the distant hoot of an owl, the faint whisper of the wind through ancient trees. You are no longer just an observer, but a part of this primeval tapestry. Your senses attuned to its subtle rhythms. The rough animal hide beneath you feels less alien, almost a second skin, and the hard earth a familiar embrace. As your consciousness gently drifts, the vast, star-studded sky above seems to stretch endlessly, holding within its depths the echoes of a million years, the relentless sun, the constant hunger, the gnawing fear of the unknown. These vivid sensations slowly recede, replaced by a profound tranquility. Your muscles ache, but it's a comforting ache, the residue of honest effort and a day truly lived. You are safe now, nestled in the heart of your ancient tribe, the warmth of the fire, a silent guardian against the cold, dark world outside. Let the sounds of the deep past lull you into a peaceful slumber, carrying you far away, back to the softness and ease of your own time.